Hey, I'm Chris Helmes with Helmes Landscape Design LLC. We're here to talk to you today about some curb appeal, things you can do in your landscape to make your house look great from the outside. If you have a new lawn or new landscape that you just put in, I would water every day for about 10 minutes. That way you get those root systems to get established. After that, you can kind of taper off to that, and I would start watering twice a week for about 20 minutes. That way you don't overwater your plants and your grass. The times of the day to water, we want to keep it early morning before the sun comes up. So 4:30, 5 a.m. is the perfect time to water your plants in your landscape. You want to have those roots need to have a nice water supply when the sun gets up and becomes hot. So you don't want to water the night before, because that moisture will have evaporated and gone down too deep into the soil to make a difference. Soil is very important, so if you have raised beds, you definitely want to come in with a mixed soil, what landscapers call a mixed soil. So if you can look right here, your soil needs to be a little bit moist, and every once in a while you need to get in there that soil and break it up. Let that soil breathe a little bit, and you want to mulch at least twice a year with a nice thick layer of 3 to 4 inches of mulch. That way you give the plants the best opportunity to have moisture locked in there, and then when wintertime comes around, it also acts as a heat block and locks in heat and moisture. Also, a good 3-4 inch layer of mulch will help to fight against weeds, acts as a weed controller, so those weeds don't have an opportunity to germinate. So potting soil, you kind of want to just keep an eye on it. If it starts to look dry, and with you have your potted plants, every time you change that plant or move it to a different bigger container, if that's what you do, you definitely want to change that soil out. I would probably suggest changing your potting soil at least every year, but just kind of keep an eye on it. If it looks like it's getting real compacted and dry and stuff like that, then you definitely want to change it out. And just keeping water on it. In a potted plant, you definitely don't want to overwater, so make sure you have keep an eye on it to make sure you're not overwatering them. So some of the benefits to artificial turf or synthetic grass is you never have to mow it, you barely have to water it, it's green year round, you don't have to worry about using fertilizers and chemicals. You're helping the environment by cutting down on emissions from weed eaters and mowers, and it's safe for pets and kids, and it's great to play on, and it's artificial turf is great. Okay, so a lot of people have the question, when do I scalp my grass? How often do I do it? Is it even necessary? And I would say, if you're gonna scalp your grass, do it right after the winter has passed, like early March or late February, and just do it one time a year. Come in, and when you scalp your grass, it's best to do it with an attached mower that you can take the clippings and dispose of them. If you have a mulching lawnmower, you don't need to do that. So that way you just scalp your grass one time a year to keep that thatch down. So we're going to talk about drainage right now. So in between two homes is typically where you're going to get a bad drainage area, just from the slope not being bad or soil settling over time. So a couple things you can do is just make sure on the side of your home you're not overwatering. Just a few minutes every time you water is plenty for the side of the home. Sometimes there's not getting enough sunlight here. So another option would be to, if you have a bad drainage area, to put in underground French drains with a couple catch basins to kind of move that water out to the street. As you can see in this area here has actually really good drainage. As you can see, the grass is nice and green. There's no wet spots because the slope of this in between these two houses is very good, so the water is just shedding out to the street. Hey, this is Chris Helmes with Helmes Landscape Design LLC with these gardening tips to help keep you in the know.